I have a take on Angel Reese that I'm sure will trigger a bunch of people.
Let's hear your take.
But I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit.
What? Excuse me? Let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. WNBA media is so desperate to make Angel Reese a huge star. Their level of desperation is so high. They want you to accept her so badly that they're actively celebrating failure.
Let's get one thing straight right out the gate. If you're here because you saw the headlines, heard the hot takes, scrolled past the outrage clips screaming that Angel Reese is toxic, a locker room cancer, or the queen of quit, then you've already been handed a script. Not hers. Not the Chicago Skies. Not even the WNBA's. You've been handed a narrative, pre-packaged, algorithm-optimized, emotionally weaponized, designed to make you pick a side before you even know the full story. And that's exactly what we're not going to do here. Because this isn't about dunking on Angel Reese. It's not about propping her up either. This is about exposing something far more dangerous than one player's struggles. It's about exposing how quickly we turn athletes into villains when the system around them fails. You want to know why no team wants to touch Angel Reese? Fine. But first, you need to understand why she's being framed that way, and who benefits from it. Let's peel back the curtain. The moment Angel Reese stepped onto the court for LSU, she became more than a basketball player. She became a symbol of confidence, of unapologetic black excellence, of joy turned into spectacle. Her finger wag after winning the NCAA championship wasn't just a taunt, it was a declaration. A middle finger to every coach, commentator, and critic who told her to shrink herself, quiet her celebrations, play the part of the humble champion. America loved her, until it didn't. Because here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. We only love black women athletes when they win gracefully, lose quietly, and never, ever demand more than what's given to them. The second Angel stopped smiling through the chaos in Chicago, the second she posted, "Making decisions for yourself is a liberating feeling." The second she let frustration leak through her Instagram stories, the machine turned. Not because she broke any rules. Not because she stopped playing hard. But because she stopped performing the role they assigned her. Think about the language being used against her right now. Toxic. Checked out. Disrespectful. Quit. Now compare that to how Caitlin Clark is described. Professional, mature, handles pressure, elevates her team. Both are 22. Both are rookies. Both are under insane media scrutiny. But only one is allowed to be human. Only one is allowed to have bad days, off-court emotions, visible frustration, without being labeled a problem. That's not coincidence. That's pattern. And Angel Reese is caught in the middle of it. But let's not pretend this is just about race or media bias. That's part of it, a big part, but it's not the whole story. The Chicago Sky didn't just draft a player. They drafted a brand. A ratings driver. A jersey mover. And they built their entire post-championship identity around her before she even played a single game. They gave her the spotlight, the billboards, the press conferences, the face of the franchise title. But did they give her the structure? The veteran leadership? The coaching stability? The organizational clarity? Nope. Teresa Weatherspoon, the coach who recruited her, believed in her, understood her, was fired after 9 games. 9. Not 30. Not a full season. 9 games into a rebuild, and they pulled the trigger. Then came Tyler Marsh, promoted internally, 0 head coaching experience at the pro level, thrown into the deep end with a roster in shambles and a rookie superstar expected to carry it all. If you think that environment doesn't breed friction, you've never worked a day in your life. And yet, when Angel reacts, when she slaps a clipboard, yes, that happened. When she posts cryptic captions, when she stops celebrating after buckets, it's not seen as a symptom of systemic failure. It's seen as proof of her character flaw. Let's talk about that clipboard moment for a second, because your feed probably showed you the clip without context. Timeout. Games slipping away. Assistant coach holds up clipboard. Angel sweats it. Boom. Toxic, disrespectful, uncoachable. But here's what they didn't show you. The play drawn up was the 5th consecutive isolation set for her, despite her shooting under 40% at that point. The defense knew it was coming. Her teammates had stopped moving off ball. The offense had stagnated. And the coaching staff? Still calling her number like she was Diana Taurasi in her prime. That's not leadership. That's desperation disguised as loyalty. And Angel? She snapped. Was it professional? No. Was it the reaction of someone drowning in pressure, poor game planning, and collapsing team chemistry? Absolutely. Look, I'm not excusing it. Physical reactions have no place in pro sports, period. But let's stop acting like it came out of nowhere. This isn't a morality play. It's a systems failure. And Angel Reese is the lightning rod taking the strike. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the quit narrative. The she's mailing it in theory. The team plays better without her stat that keeps getting thrown around like gospel. First, where's the source? Who ran the lineup data? Over what sample size? Against which teams? With what bench units? Team plays better without her is a soundbite, not a study. Second, even if true, what does it actually prove? That Angel is dragging them down? Or that the entire roster construction is flawed? That the coaching adjustments are non-existent? That the front office failed to build a supporting cast worthy of a number 7 pick? Let me ask you this. When Zion Williamson misses games in New Orleans, and the Pelicans win a few without him, do we say, Zion is the problem? Do we say, he's toxic? Do we say, no team wants to touch him? No. We say the system isn't built right. We say the infrastructure is broken. We say the organization failed him. So why is the standard different for Angel? Because she's a woman? Because she's black? Because she doesn't fit the graceful underdog archetype the media loves to push? Probably all three. And then there's the injury. Oh, the conveniently timed back injury. The escape hatch, as your competitors so dramatically put it. Never mind that back injuries are notoriously unpredictable. Never mind that the Sky's medical staff refused to release details, standard practice across the league. Never mind that Angel flew back to Chicago during her recovery to attend teammate Jimmy Carter's birthday, as if that proves anything other than she has friends. The second an athlete, especially a black woman, shows signs of wanting control over her body, her schedule, her future, we label it manipulation. We call it quitting. We call it selfish. But when Kevin Durant sits out, load management, games? When Joel Embiid takes months off? When LeBron skips back-to-backs? We call it smart. We call it longevity. We call it professionalism. Double standard? You're damn right it is. And Angel Reese is living inside it. So let's cut through the noise. Is Angel perfect? No. Has she made mistakes? Absolutely. Should she have handled the coaching change with more grace? Probably. Could she have led by example instead of venting on social media? Undoubtedly. But let's not pretend she's some lone agent of chaos in an otherwise pristine organization. The Chicago Sky are a mess. Players voted them the worst-run franchise in the league. Front office instability. Coaching carousel. Zero long-term vision. And yet, somehow, the entire collapse is pinned on the 22-year-old rookie? That's not analysis. That's scapegoating. And here's the brutal irony. The same people calling her untradeable are the ones inflating her value through constant coverage. Every video titled, Angel Reese Exposed. Every tweet thread dissecting her facial expressions. Every podcast debating whether she's worth it. You're not burying her brand. You're feeding it. GMs aren't scared of Angel Reese. They're scared of the circus that comes with her, the media frenzy, the fan polarization, the headline risk. But here's the thing, Every superstar comes with baggage. Ja Morant, Draymond Green, Russell Westbrook. All traded. All wanted. All valued, because their talent outweighed the noise. So why is Angel different? Maybe it's not her. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's the lens we're forced to see her through. Maybe it's time we ask not, what's wrong with Angel Reese? But, what's wrong with the system that set her up to fail, then blamed her when it did? The moment you label someone untradeable, you've already lost control of the story. Because in professional sports, especially in a league like the WNBA, where roster spots are scarce, salaries are tight, and every decision is scrutinized under a microscope, there's no such thing as a player no one wants. There are only players whose cost, whether financial, cultural, or emotional, outweighs their perceived return. And right now, Angel Reese sits squarely in that gray zone. Not because she lacks talent. Not because she can't rebound, finish through contact, or command the paint. But because the narrative around her has metastasized faster than her on-court development, turning potential into peril, charisma into controversy, and confidence into condemnation. Let's be brutally honest, if Angel Reese were putting up 20 and 12 on a playoff-bound team, we wouldn't be having this conversation. No one would care about a clipboard. No one would dissect her Instagram captions. No one would question her loyalty. They'd call her passionate, driven, a leader learning in real time. But she's not on a playoff team. She's on a 9-30 train wreck. And in the absence of wins, we fill the void with drama. We assign blame. We create villains. And Angel? She's the perfect target. Young, loud, unfiltered, black, female, marketable. Everything the old guard fears and the algorithm loves. So let's talk trades, because that's what this video promised, isn't it? The WNBA star no team wants to touch. Bold claim. Let's test it. Who actually could want Angel Reese? Start with Indiana. Yes, Caitlin Clark's team. The Fever are building something special. Fast-paced. Media-savvy. Young core. They lead the league in attendance, merchandise sales, and national TV slots. They also lack a true interior presence. Clark needs a pick-and-roll partner who can finish, draw fouls, and clean the glass. Angel does all three. Imagine Clark to Reese alley-oops. Imagine double teams collapsing on Clark, kicking out to open shooters while Angel cleans up misses. Imagine the marketing juggernaut, Clark and Reese, not as rivals, but as co-stars. The league would print money. But, and this is the big but, Indiana's front office is built on culture. Lynn Dunn doesn't tolerate chaos. She values professionalism, accountability, structure. Would she risk disrupting her locker room chemistry for a player labeled toxic? Maybe not today. But what if Chicago eats salary? What if they attach a future first-rounder? What if Angel agrees to sit down with Lynn, face-to-face, no cameras, no agents, just two basketball minds talking honestly about expectations, role, and growth? Deals get made when desperation meets opportunity. And make no mistake, Indiana will hit a ceiling without a dominant big. Angel could be the answer. Then there's New York. The Liberty won a championship last year, but Jonquil Jones isn't getting younger. Their frontcourt depth is thin. Sandy Brondello thrives with high IQ, high-energy bigs. Could Angel fit? Only if she buys in. Only if she embraces coming off the bench behind Jones. Only if she dials back the social media noise and lets her game do the talking. New York doesn't need a star. They need a weapon. An Angel, in a controlled role, surrounded by veterans, could thrive. Look at what Courtney Vandersloot did there, from Sky Castoff to Liberty Catalyst. Redemption arcs are real. Phoenix is another option. They're rebuilding. Missing Brittany Griner's presence. Have cap space. Have a coach in Nate Tibbetts who's shown patience with young talent. They also have Diana Taurasi, the ultimate mentor. If anyone can teach Angel how to channel fire into focus, it's DT. Picture it, Taurasi pulling Angel aside after practice. Kid, I yelled at refs, cursed out coaches, threw towels, and still won titles. You think you're the first hothead? Grow up. The game rewards patience. That's not fantasy. That's legacy transfer. And Phoenix knows how to rebuild around personality-driven stars. Seattle? Less likely. They're married to Easy Eye Magbeggar and have Nneka Ogwumike mentoring their young core. Plus, Dan Hughes runs a tight ship, zero tolerance for distraction. LA? Too crowded. Connecticut? Too small market. Minnesota? They just drafted Dorky Juhas, betting on polish over flash. So yes, options exist. Limited? Sure. Conditional? Absolutely. But no team wants to touch her. That's lazy storytelling. The truth is more complicated and far more interesting. Teams aren't scared of Angel Reese. They're scared of mismanaging her, of not having the infrastructure to support her, of becoming the next Chicago, where hype eclipsed planning and branding replaced basketball. And that fear? It's justified. Because Angel isn't broken. She's mismatched. She's a Ferrari engine dropped into a rusted-out chassis. She needs structure. She needs veteran leadership. She needs a coach who sees her fire as fuel, not failure. She needs teammates who challenge her, not avoid her. She needs an organization that doesn't treat her like a mascot, but like a cornerstone, with clear expectations, defined roles, and consistent communication. Chicago gave her none of that. They handed her a crown before she earned the throne, then blamed her when the castle collapsed. Classic bait and switch. And now she's paying the price. Every missed pass on film gets turned into proof she's divisive. Every turnover becomes evidence she's selfish. Every frustrated grimace is edited into a meme titled Toxic Queen. Meanwhile, no one asks why Chindy Carter, averaging nearly as many turnovers, gets called fiery instead of reckless. No one questions why Isabel Harrison, shooting worse than Angel, is labeled grinding instead of inefficient. No one dissects Marina Mabrey's body language when she jacks up contested threes late in the shot clock. Selective outrage isn't analysis. It's agenda. And Angel Reese is its favorite target. So what's her move? Does she force a trade? Demand a buyout? Sit out? Post more cryptic quotes? Or does she do the hardest thing possible? Stay. Stay in Chicago. Shut up. Work. Let the game speak. Become the leader this franchise desperately needs, not by being perfect, but by being present. By showing up early. Staying late. Pulling rookies aside. Holding herself accountable in pressers. Apologizing for the clipboard, not because she has to, but because she wants to grow. That's the path no one's talking about. The redemption arc no algorithm wants to promote. Because quiet growth doesn't trend. Humility doesn't break the internet. But it builds legacies. Just ask Maya Moore. Just ask Sue Bird. Just ask Tamika Catchings, who once got benched for mouthing off to a ref, then came back to win Defensive Player of the Year. Greatness isn't born in highlight reels. It's forged in silence. In sweat. In sacrifice. Angel Reese has the tools. The athleticism. The hands. The motor. What she lacks, what Chicago failed to give her, is the roadmap. The mentors. The boundaries. The belief that she's more than a brand. More than a villain. More than a stat line. She's a 22-year-old woman navigating the most pressure-filled transition of her life, from college icon to pro liability, with the entire sports world watching, waiting, hoping she'll crack. And maybe she will. Or maybe, just maybe, she'll surprise us all. Maybe she'll shut down the noise. Lock in. Transform. Become the player Chicago hoped she'd be, not for them, but for herself. Because here's the secret no one in the hot take industrial complex wants you to know: Angel Reese doesn't need a new team. She needs a new mindset. And if she finds it, if she learns to lead through adversity instead of reacting to it, if she turns her fire inward, into discipline, into focus, into relentless improvement. Then watch out. Because the same girl they're calling untradeable today, she'll be the one lifting trophies tomorrow. And every critic, every hater, every expose channel will be forced to rewrite their scripts. That's the power she holds. Not in escaping Chicago, but in conquering it. Not in running from the noise, but in rising above it. The choice is hers. And honestly, I hope she stays. Not because Chicago deserves her, but because she deserves the chance to prove them all wrong.